I love butterfly designs, and this Sashiko panel by Sylvia Pippen couldn't be more perfect. A kind friend gave it to me after she decided not to use it, and I couldn't wait to start stitching. In this video, I'll show you how I'm working on it, including the basic Sashiko stitch, a few decorative knots, and some small changes I've made to make it my own. Before, I've always done Japanese Sashiko samplers or panels, and I have done a couple from Australia. This is my first by an American designer. I also have a book though by this lady's mother, and have made a quilt out of it, and she has some lovely quilts. This is a Sashiko panel, so it doesn't have that extra flap that you fold back that you see in samplers. I'll just be sewing through a single layer here. And I notice it does have very tiny markings for stitches, but when I do samplers, I don't always follow these stitching markings anyway. I'll just do the stitch size I want to do on it. And it does come with instructions, and this one does have some colours on it, and I haven't decided what I'm going to do about that yet. I tend to like just the white and navy blue. And this is actually black fabric, so I may use some colours. You don't have to follow the dash marks, but it might be useful on the really intricate parts, which I can see that it might be. Some of this is very fine stitching, so I'll need some thin Sashiko thread, I think, to do this. So I'm going to press this open, no steam. What I usually do is I press them on the back, but I'll just test one, maybe a corner, or maybe on this one I'll do this little piece down here. I've already got a cat hair on it. And make sure that it's not going to disappear when I iron it. But generally speaking, these patterns, or at least when they come from Japan, they're water soluble. So as long as you don't use steam, these patterns don't come off. But this is a different company for me to use, so I will try it first and make sure. And once I've ironed some of these creases out, I will get my needle and thimble and start stitching. I've ironed this, still quite a bit of creases in there. Probably does need some steam on this one, but I won't be doing that until the end. But it's flat enough for me to sew. And as you can see, it hasn't made any difference to the pattern. And that was quite a hot iron, just no steam. Now, I'm not affiliated in any way with this company, but if you're interested in purchasing, here is the website. And she's really got some quite pretty pieces that you can buy and do Sashiko on. Because this was given to me, I'm not sure if the lady ordered it directly from the website or if she bought it from one of the Sashiko online stores. But I'm sure you can find out on her website the details of that. It does come with a little instruction sheet and things, so that's good. So I have my white thread here, and I'm going to begin with the white to do these lines. Then I'll be thinking about whether to use the colours or not as I go along. I have a Sashiko needle here. It's quite a short one because this will be doing a lot of curves, so I don't need a really long one. I'm just going to thread my needle. I think I'll use a knot because whatever I use it for, I don't think it's something where the back's going to show. This may become a wall hanging, I think. And then I have my Sashiko thimble. I like to do hand projects, and I actually have more than one going on at a time most of the time. At the moment, I am quilting a quilt that I've made videos about, a blue ombre quilt, and I'm hand quilting that. I'm also doing a Sashiko butterfly and a baby quilt, and I have a hexagon paper piece quilt that I've been working on a while. Let's begin Sashiko. I'm aiming for a grain of rice size stitching here. And I'm just going to go in and out. I'm going to load some stitches onto the needle here, and I'm pushing the needle with this palm thimble and guiding it through with my finger and thumb. And when I've got a little run of stitches here, push it through and pull. You want to aim for your stitches to be fairly even, whatever size you choose to do them. And the pattern does say on this that you can make one stitch over two of the small stitches to keep it in size, but I'm just going to do kind of my standard sewing size that I do here. And I'm rubbing my finger 3 times, finger and thumb 3 times over there to make sure that it doesn't pucker up when I've sewn it. I'm going to just carry on working along here. One of the best things about Sashiko is there's not a lot of different stitches to learn. It's this really simple basic running stitch with just the specific ways that you need to treat it to, you know, to make it look good. And once you know that, it's all about practice and just trying to make it as nice and even looking as you can. And I think it's the designs and the colours that make Sashiko Japanese embroidery look so attractive. Okay, I'm not going to put that needle in that last stitch there. To pull that through. And again, do you see how that's kind of puckered if I don't do anything with it? And as you sew, that just gets worse and worse as you go along until your piece just doesn't look good at the end if you don't treat it each time you sew a few stitches. Now here, can you see that I'm actually going to carry my thread under that little bit? And carrying thread underneath is quite acceptable. You just want to make sure that you leave it just a little bit loose and not too tight. So if I look on the other side, instead of being a straight line, I'll just loosen that just a little bit like that. And just keep sewing. Now, some people do use other threads. Pearl cotton, I know, is a choice that people do. I like to use Sashiko thread. I think the recommended threads for this particular sample are a Daruma or an Olympus thread. This is an Olympus thread actually that I'm using. It just happens to be what I have in. I like Olympus thread, so. But it's got a definite different feel compared to embroidery floss. It just acts in a different way. And I notice there's a few places on this pattern where there are some dots. So I will actually refer to the pattern later and see what stitch I should use for those. When I've done patterns before with those, sometimes I've done a little French knot there. I'm sure that's not strictly Japanese style, but it's what worked on the pattern for me, so that's what I did. I'm going to do some off camera. I'll come back every so often and show you how I'm getting on. So I hope you get some Sashiko. Have a look at Sylvia Pippen website and see if you can find anything there and give it a try. I've got all the white wavy lines here done, and that's looking okay for up to now, but I'm going to move on now to the butterfly. The problems I'm foreseeing is that these lines are so close together that there's going to be no separation between the two threads. So if I use the same colour, it's just going to look like a thick line, and that's not going to look good. I think I'm going to carry on with the white, and I'm just going to make that the very outline, and I think the antenna. And then on the inside, I'm going to use 2 colours so that I can alternate them. For example, I've got this green and green. I've just got a little bit of that. So I think if I do that on these lines that are right next to each other, it will look like 2 separate lines drawing there. So I'm going to go ahead and start sewing that, and I'll show you how it looks like it's coming along. I've outlined the first butterfly in white. I didn't realise when I looked at it first that the antenna and the body are all connected together, so I've done that all in white too. But the little thing I was going to show you here is there's a little colonial knot at the end of here. So I thought I'd just, in case you didn't know, I thought I'd just show you how to do that. So you want to go in under the dot and back out. and then this goes over the top and then underneath, almost like a figure of 8, and then around. So do you see that you've done like you've made an 8 there? You want to pull this really quite tightly or your knot will be too big and loose. And then just keep your fingernail on that so it doesn't stretch out, and just pull that through. And you can actually see the little tiny 8 there before I pull that too tight. And if you're not careful, you can end up getting the lower half of the 8 loop a little bit big, so you have to make sure it stays tight. And then go back down through the fabric to the back to get rid of your end of your thread, and you have a little knot there. So I've done 2, 1 there and 1 there. And there are several. Everywhere you see these little dots, there's going to be one of these. I'm going to do this inner line now. And I've threaded this green thread. I wasn't sure whether to use the dark or the light. If you notice, I'm doing the smallest butterfly on here because I'm treating this as like an experiment to see how it works out. Now this thread actually is slightly thicker than the white that I'm using, but I'm trying to use what I've already got in. If this looks bad and doesn't work, then I may have to just stop and send for some new thread. But let's come up here and see what this looks like. Looked a little bit dark as a hank of thread, but I think it'll look lighter stitch into here. All right, yep, I think that's going to look okay. What do you think? So I'm going to carry on doing this around here. So this is going to be the green butterfly. And you know, really, the pattern shows lots of different colours for these butterflies. But I do have several colours that I've used in the past, so I'll definitely do a blue one because I think, you know, blue's my favourite colour. But I think this green is going to look quite nice. It looks really nice against the black stitched in there, don't you think? Alright, so I'll carry on doing this and then I'll show you how it turns out and whether I'm going to go on and do the other butterflies or if I have to take the whole thing out and start again. I finished the one butterfly there. The two shades of green don't show up as being that different in this. I think it still looks fine, but when I do some other colours, I'm going to see if I can do more contrast. And I'm quite surprised actually because I thought that the pale green would not show up against the white, but it seems to fade into either colour. I've started doing white outlines as well around the other butterflies because I am doing a white outline around each one, and then I'll choose the colours that I'm doing inside as I go along. So I'm just completing all the white first, and then I'll go ahead and start doing these butterflies. I think this will maybe a nice centre for a quilt maybe. It's black, so it should be pretty easy to match up. So I'm thinking about that as a possibility of what I'm going to do with this when it's finished. Alright, so keep watching and I'll show you what it looks like in the end. Before I go any further, I was going to show you that one change that I've made is I didn't really like the Colonial knots that much. I'm going to kind of show you a little bit here. I felt like they were a little large, especially in this greener thread, which is slightly thicker. So I tried out a French knot to see if that would look smaller. And I think that I like that a little bit better. The work is fine, the stitches are small, and I just think the smaller knots fits better for me. And so over here, I'm about to do a French knot here, and I'll just show you the way I do the French knot. And you can do a thicker French knot than this. So do you see where the dots are in the middle of these little circles? So I've already come up through the centre of the circle. I'm going to take a little bite, a little stitch there. And then I'm just going to wrap this. I'm just going to wrap this thread around the needle twice and pull it through. This actually reminds me a little bit of a Sashiko knot. It's funny how these knots are just so similar. I pull it through, pull it tight, and thread that back through, or stitch that back through to the other side. So any of these knots are not my favourite things to do, French knots and colonial knots, but I do like the look of that better, so that's what I've decided to do on that. The other thing that I thought I would experiment with was on this particular circle, it needs the smaller stitches, so I thought I'd actually try and see if I can actually follow her little stitch markings, which really look too small almost to me to follow, so I thought I'd just give it a try. So let's see how this works out. I'm trying to go in and out exactly on her markings. And you can't really do very big stitches at all anyway on circles. And nor can you really do more than one stitch at once. It's just too much of a curve. Your needle just can't go around corners that much. I'm having trouble hitting the spot, so. So the advice on the instructions is that curves use these smaller stitches, and on the straight sew over 2 stitches. I just wanted to see how this went. So, I mean, that actually looks fine. Quite fiddly, but it's just because it's a circle. So I think on these circles, I probably just follow her little lines, make sure I get perfect circles for them. So I'm going to finish that and then go on and do the other butterflies. I have 2. This one's completed, and then I've also been working on this turquoise one. I'm just going to move on up. This is a project it's really not taking that long, and it's quite fun because each little butterfly is different, and so you can do one butterfly at a time and just have fun doing that. Especially now I've got all the white done as the outline, which I think that'll make them show up against the black, so I like that. Here's my Sashiko panel done, and I'm really pleased with that. I think it looks really nice. I stuck to a theme of blues and greens, although against the black some of this green actually shows up a little bit yellow, but I think I really like the result anyway. So I did do a couple of things a little bit differently. As I mentioned, I changed the colonial knots into French knots. When I look at this overall though, I really don't think that it made very much difference. I don't think you can tell a lot of difference between where I did do the colonial knots and where I did the French knots, so I guess either is okay. My favourite little part of these butterflies is this little French knot in a circle. That just really appeals to me. I really like that little design there. And the one last thing I did different was on the pattern, these body sections are kind of with some stripy Sashiko stitches across, and I just emphasised mine with an extra row of stitching. I don't know if you can see that or not. Just because that appealed to my taste a little more. Overall, this was a great pattern. Pretty sure I'm going to put this in a quilt and make it a panel. I think that'll be a great centre. And let's see, just scan over that so that you can see it a bit better. So again, this is from a Sylvia Pippen design. If you'd like to check out their website and see if there's anything you would like. I just really enjoyed this. I like butterflies, and it was a good one to do. If you want to see more Sashiko, click the notification bell and you'll get more of my videos. And thanks for watching.